This is an increase called knit front and back. Sometimes it's abbreviated as K1FB, sometimes abbreviated as KFB. But as an increase, it's exactly what it sounds like. You are going to knit into the front and the back of the same stitch, and you're going to make 2 stitches out of that one. So I'm going to start just by knitting a couple of stitches here to get started on the row. Okay, this will be my increase. So next stitch on the needle, insert my needle knitwise, wrap yarn, bring it through just like what you would when you're knitting a stitch, just like you would when you're knitting a stitch, but you do not transfer the stitch to your right hand needle. Instead, bring that needle around, insert it into the back of the loop on your needle. Wrap your yarn again, pull it through, and now slide it off the needle. And you can see, here are the 2 stitches I knit. Here is the stitch where I knit into the front and into the back, and it will always make that little bump on the second stitch. Looks almost like a purl bump. The other thing you need to know is that this increase will always create a stitch on the left-hand side of the stitch where you work the increase. And that is because you are taking that 1 stitch and turning it into 2. Again, let me show you. You're going to insert your needle as if to knit, pull that stitch through, swing your needle around, insert it back into that stitch, wrap, and pull off the needle. And you can see, so there's your 1 increase, where you knit into the front and the back, and there's your second increase, where you knit into the front and the back. Knit another 2 stitches. I should point out, many increases when you're working them, you're knitting into this strand between 2 stitches. And because of that, you can knit the strand on this side of the stitch, you can knit the strand on this side of the stitch, so you can increase on either side. With the knit front and back, your increase again, it will always be on the left-hand side of what you're knitting. And because of that, it is not an increase that you can easily substitute. So again, I've now increased 3, knit front and back there, knit front and back there, knit front and back there. I'm going to do 2 more. And again, insert, knit that stitch, keep it on the needle, go back into the back of that loop, wrap, bring it through. And then I'm just going to finish knitting this row. So as you can see, very, very obvious. Looks like you've purled a stitch, but again, that stitch with the bump is actually a new stitch that you have created. I'm going to purl back so you can see what it looks like a little bit further down from the needle. All right, so I've purled back along that row, and I just want to show you what it looks like a little more into the fabric. There's definitely more stitches on my needle now, so you can just begin to see that the piece is widening out a little bit. And you can see the increases. So I knit these 2. This stitch I knit into the front, and then I knit into the back. This is a completely new stitch. And you can see that bump where I knit into the back. Knit another 2 stitches, knit into the front and the back of 1 stitch. There's your telltale bump, creating a brand new stitch, and all along through here. So when you work this stitch in stockinette, you're going to have these telltale bumps anywhere that you work this increase. So this is the K1FB increase, knit into the front and back of a stitch.